got my trying to figure out how to turn my camera off. I got to keep it dark in here. I'm fighting a migraine headache right now, so hopefully everyone can hear me. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. I don't know if looks like it says there's two people in here right now. So I ain't gonna keep this long. Hey, what's up, Jesse Dallas? I uh I did that little video earlier today. I like I said, I try not to watch the politics and the news much anymore because it's just aggravating. But hey Thomas, how you doing? It just I because of the Russia thing, I kind of started looking into things a little bit. And hey James, Billy, um, and then of course I caught all kinds of information. Uh, U.S. says ISIS did it. Ukraine says ISIS did it. ISIS says ISIS did it. But who is ISIS? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, hey Cliff, that was kind of Obama's baby. I mean, that all started right around the Obama era, the whole ISIS thing. Another thing is when has ISIS ever went and committed a terrorist act and not killed themselves? I mean, that's the whole thing of them doing their thing is they got to die so they can get their seven virgins and become martyrs and all that. Um, I'm calling bullshit. We all know that since Vietnam, all we've done is start wars, fight wars, our country. We've funded coups, funded civil wars, overthrown legitimate governments. In every country we go into, it's not our soldiers, it's our government. They leave that country in way worse shape than it was before we started. I find it kind of funny that they're going to blame it on ISIS. Kind of makes you wonder why this administration left billions of dollars in military hardware over there in Afghanistan and Iraq, where quote unquote ISIS is, where quote unquote ISIS has taken a stronghold since we left, but yet we left all that hardware there. And then we've got all these ISIS soldiers, mercenaries, or whatever, that were fighting with Ukraine against Russia. I mean, this stinks to these crooked ass politicians in our country did this, blame it on ISIS so that they can get us, to spend more money because it was a terrorist attack and this and that. Or when Russia responds back and blows the shit out of Ukraine, they can say, oh, poor Ukraine, we got to send them more money. This government is the most corrupt, crooked piece of shit government that probably has ever existed. We don't have any money for our own soldiers, our own veterans, for homeless, for kids that have to go to school and get lunches at school because there's no food in their own home because their parents can't afford it. But yet we can send billions to Ukraine, billions to Israel, billions to illegal immigrants coming into this country. We have all the money in the world for all these other countries, for all these illegal immigrants, putting them up in fancy motels, giving them food, giving them phones, giving them free medical and that. But yet we can't even do that for our own citizens. You know, I love my country, but fuck this government. I mean, this government is a fucking virus. It's a fucking cancer. And excuse my language, but I'm a little pissed off tonight. But this government is nothing more than a fucking cancer that is eating this country up from the inside out. And the sad part about it is we still have so many people that, well, the Republicans are trying, look, they're trying to pass this bill, they're trying to pass that bill. Look, left wing, right wing, They're both part of the same bird. That bird is shitting all over every one of us. You know, these people are supposed to represent us. I don't think they're representing us when they're spending millions of dollars or trillions now. I think it's into the trillions, sending money over to a fucking corrupt Ukraine, and I'm sure Zelensky takes his cut, and then they funnel it back to all these politicians that vote for this shit. You know, this has nothing to do with freedom or democracy. Like I said, this has to do with these rich politicians with all their investments into Boeing and these other companies that make military hardware and planes and all that, and who knows whatever crooked shit they're in. But they funnel this money into these other countries. The leaders of them countries take their cut, and then they funnel the money right back to these politicians. I mean, these people are in one term. You know, they make, I think it's like 240, 250,000 for, one term or a year. It might even be a year, but yet they do one term depending on what they're in. It's 4 to 6 years, and they come out millionaires and billionaires. I mean, come on, folks. I've never been to college, but even I can add and subtract, and there's no way they're making that kind of money without doing illegal, crooked ass shit. You know, but we still got these people that think, well, they're trying. Look, every one of these fucking Republicans, Matt Gaetz, all of them, they try and pass these bills when they know that the Democrats won't sign it. When we have a Democrat Republican and a Democrat Senate, and they know that there's no chance the bill's ever going to pass, so then they'll bring these bills up. And they'll say, well, look at what we're doing for you. We're fighting for you. But yet, when Republicans have had control of the presidency, the Senate, and the Congress, why didn't they bring up any of these bills then? Because, like I said, they call themselves the left wing and the right wing, but they're both part of the same bird. I'll bet you every one of these sons of bitches, Republican and Democrat, are fucking sitting back right now on their spring break, eating caviar, drinking champagne, and laughing at how fucking stupid the American people are because we actually believe that even a handful of them represent us. When Mitch, or not Mitch McConnell, fucknut. I'm sorry, I got a migraine going, so it's hard for me to think straight right now. When the last Speaker of the House got voted in, they said he was a rhino piece of shit. They kicked him out. They brought in this new one. And he's no different. Right or left, it doesn't matter. They're the same. They're all in this together. Anybody that's not corrupt won't get more than one term in. They have to become, it's like a cancer. It infects it spreads through the entire body. You can put an honest politician in, but the system is so corrupt that if an honest politician goes in, he either becomes crooked like the rest of them or they'll run his ass out of there. None of them represent us. None of them give a shit about us. Let me look through these questions. All right, let me see what I can do here. I'm trying to read these questions and hitting the nail on the head. Thanks, Mr. Looper. No more bills. All this doing is growing oppression of us. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there is no constitutional rights unless you're an illegal. I mean, and then you have all the constitutional rights in the world. Yeah, both parties can kiss my ass, James. I agree. They're not different parties. They're a uniparty. Hey, ungrateful peasant, it's good to see you, buddy. But no, I'm laughing at all these people that honestly believe that, Ukraine and the U.S. didn't have anything to do with that attack on Russia, that it was ISIS. just like we didn't have anything to do with blowing up the pipeline, and I'm sure none of us, the CIA and Ukraine and that didn't have anything to do with blowing up that uh, general or whatever he was in Russia's car, and they killed his daughter. They didn't get him. I mean, I'm sure that we didn't have anything to do with that. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think it was during Obama's era that we helped overthrow the legitimate government of Ukraine and put in somebody that we wanted. I mean, that's what we do. We go into all these countries and we cause civil unrest. We fund coups. We help coups. Help them commit coups and overthrow legitimate governments. Like I said, since Vietnam, we go into these countries: Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, and we leave these countries in worse shape than they were when we went over there. So why are we doing that? It's not the soldiers that are doing that. It's these politicians. And they need to keep war going. They need to keep conflicts going. They need to keep that going so that they can keep, well, we got to send money to this country and help them fight this dictator. We got to send money to that country and help them fight that dictator. And then, like I said, like Zelensky and like all the others, they pocket their share of that money and then they just ship it right back to these crooked politicians and they just embezzle money. I mean, that's all they're doing. The government is nothing more than a fucking welfare case. I mean, the federal government does not provide anything. They don't give any money or make any money. They don't pay any taxes. They don't do anything. The only thing they do is take money from us, from citizens that work. They take our money and then they use it for their own agendas to line their own freaking pockets and then tell us how broke we are. We're so broke that we can afford to send money to foreign countries. We can afford to take in all these illegal immigrants, but yet we're broke. While the rest of us are paying $3.50, $4, $4.50 a gallon for gasoline, $5 a gallon for diesel fuel and that, and worrying about how to get to work, worrying about how we're going to feed our families and that. These politicians are not worried about how they're going to pay their bills. They're not worried about, I've got it in the dark right now because I got to go get surgery on my eye Tuesday. I burnt my eye really bad, my left eye. So I'm keeping the room dark so that it's just driving myself. It's easier on me so I don't have a headache. I got a migraine as it is. I'm trying not to escalate it. So that's why it's in the dark. It'll probably be in the dark here in a little bit. I took some stuff to help with the migraine, but I got to do a live on the gun channel, AR American, after this, and I'm probably gonna have to have that one in the dark too. It's just head's pounding right now, so it is what it is. I mean, I'm going Tuesday, get surgery. If you guys don't hear or see nothing, if I don't answer any comments or any emails for a few days or a week, that's why. It's going to be some pretty extensive surgery on my left eye. I burned it up pretty bad welding, so. But like I said, it is what it is. That's not. I don't even care about that right now. What I care about is I am just so tired of this cancer called the federal government just fucking the people. I mean, and sticking it to us. We don't have money for this. We don't have money for that. American citizens shouldn't have guns. Gun violence is so bad. But then you hear that, I don't remember what city it was in. They're saying the illegals have the right to own firearms and have the right to carry guns and that. So what are you saying? The illegals have rights that we don't, constitutional rights that we don't. So let me get this right. These illegals come here, they attack people. If you shoot them, they want to take your guns and they say that you don't have a right to defend yourself. But yet, if illegals come here, they should have the right to own guns. They should have the right to carry guns. Apparently, they have the right to hurt people, attack people, police, citizens, whatever, and they can't even be charged for it. I mean, they're already breaking the law by coming into the country illegally. I mean, it's just bullshit. And like I said, now, with the whole Russia thing, I just couldn't believe how many people, if ISIS had something to do with Russia, it was only because we funded it, we orchestrated it, us in Ukraine. Um, I mean, I can't believe the stuff that people still believe. I mean, I don't know. It's just that's why I try not to do politics. That's why I don't do a whole lot of videos on this channel anymore, because I named it right. It pissed off American. It pisses me off when I try and keep up with the politics, when I try and keep up with the current events and all that. I'm just happier ignoring all that shit and doing my own thing. Yeah, it sucks what happened in Russia. It sucks what's happening in Ukraine. It sucks what's happening over in Israel and Gaza. And what sucks about it is it's a whole bunch of fucking innocent people like the United States citizens that are being used as pawns in the fucking game of crooked ass governments, because I don't believe any of them governments are any more honest than ours. You know, yeah, it is funny how Obama was in London 2 days ago. It's also funny, like I was saying earlier, how, yeah, ISIS, pretty much, I think that started during the Obama era, and Obama was actually funding ISIS because they were fighting some other country that we had a problem with. I've heard the stories how the CIA trained Osama bin Laden in that. But it's kind of funny how ISIS was gone. ISIS was dead. Hey, hillbilly, how you doing, buddy? ISIS was no threat. This and that. We pulled out of Afghanistan and Iraq, billions of dollars of military equipment there, and now all of a sudden ISIS is back, showing its face again. But any other ISIS attack we've seen, the terrorists blew themselves up or they killed themselves because, I mean, that's how they get their seven virgins and all that. But yet they happen to catch all of them over in Russia. I mean, it just don't add up to what I know I've seen throughout the years and what most of you have seen throughout the years when ISIS does attacks. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's no need for a federal government. The federal government does nothing for the citizens of the United States. The only thing the federal government takes care of is the federal government and then any other fucking country but America. Well, you know what? If they are here nationwide and they're just waiting their orders, fuck it, let it happen, man. I'm tired of it. Let's get this show on the road, get it done and over with. I don't believe there's anybody holding our government hostage. Our government is so corrupt. I mean, I'm not a huge Trump fan. I mean, I don't have a problem with Trump. I think he did all right as a president. The guy shouldn't be in politics though, because he doesn't know how to pick anybody. I mean, Barr turned down him, Pence turned down him, uh, Mitch McConnell turned down him, Lindsey Graham turned down him. I mean, the guy can't pick decent people for shit, and he supports all the fucking people that turn their back on him and fuck him. But I mean, realistically, the government is so corrupt in this country that no one person is going to change anything. They'll all just work against him like they did the first time. So, I mean, the cancer is already it's spread throughout the whole body, meaning the government, the country, and everything else. I mean, you got schools teaching fucking transgender, fucking child grooming, pedophile bullshit to your fucking kids. You got illegals coming in getting treated better than citizens. You got all your money. We're so broke, but all your money going to all these other foreign countries and shit. Um, I mean, I don't think the only way you're coming back from this is this country has to collapse. Truly, true people that care about this country stand back up after it collapses, take it back over. You're not going to fix it. It's too far gone. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. When I tell you guys this, I'm just telling you how I feel. I may change my mind tomorrow or the next day, but I think it's too far gone to save it. It needs to collapse. And just like a house, when a house catches fire, there's a point where the house is burned up so bad, you might as well just let it burn down to the ground and then rebuild from the foundation up. I think that's where our country's at. I don't think there's any putting out the fire and saving what's left. I just think it's too far gone. I think you just need to let it burn down and then rebuild from the ashes on a new foundation, or even the founding fathers' foundation, if you can stick to it. But see, there lies the problem. Anytime you put these people in power, I mean, they vote their own pay raises in, they vote their own vacations in. I mean, like right now, the country's struggling and everything else, and all these sons of bitches are off on spring break, and then they'll come back from that, and then they'll have an Easter break, and then they'll have a summer break, and then they'll have a Christmas break. And I mean, these motherfuckers get more breaks than any of us that actually have to fucking work for our money, that don't get to steal it from the people that do work in so-called taxes. So what they need to do is, there needs to be term limits. No politician is allowed more than 2 terms. No politician, every politician, federal politician, or even state politician for that matter, should not be allowed to make more than the average constituent. So if the average person in, like, say, the state of Michigan makes $55,000 a year, that's what your politicians should be capped at. They should not be allowed to make more than their constituents. You want to make more money? Find a way for the people you represent to make a better income, or otherwise you struggle right along with them. There should be no money allowed for campaigns, whether it's president, whether it's senator, whether it's congressman, and that. This isn't like back in the 50s and the 60s when politicians used to have to drive around from town to town and meet people to get their shit out. Now with Twitter, with social media, with Facebook, with YouTube and that, I mean, somebody like me can put a message out there, and if everybody shares it and sends it out and likes it and that, I mean, the old channel before they took it down, I did one video. At the time that I did the video, I think I only had a couple hundred subscribers, and in 12 hours, well, in 24 hours, it was over 20,000 subs. So, I mean, realistically, any politician that's taking campaign donations to fund their campaign is obligated to support whoever's giving it to them. So if it's some rich corporation like Tyson that's funding this campaign, then of course they can't speak out. They can't do anything to Tyson for laying off all these fucking Americans to bring in fucking illegals. I mean, how the fuck does that make sense in any fucking reality other than bizarro world, that you lay off American workers, people that live in this country, people that love this country, you lay them off so you can bring in fucking illegals and hire them? I mean, that's when you know your country's completely gone, when corporations can lay off fucking American workers and then fucking bring in fucking illegals. You know it's too far gone to save it then. It's not just insider trading. It's companies, like Walmart or whatever. They fund some campaign and then they get all kinds of little benefits. Anytime anybody that says they're representing you is getting money from a company, they're not representing you. They're representing a company. Yeah. Tyson forced all their people to get the vaccine or lose their job, just so that, what, year or two later they can lay them all off and hire illegals. Yeah, that's the America we live in now. And the fact that these politicians don't seem to have a fucking problem with it just goes to show you. Yeah, guns and water. I got the lights out because I'm fighting a migraine headache right now. I got to go get a surgery on my left eye. I burned it up pretty good welding, so. Yeah, sending millions to Ukraine and getting kickbacks. That's exactly what's happening. And it's treason. You know, every one of these sons of bitches that's in office right now currently is a fucking traitor to this country. And like I said, I don't want to hear well, they're trying to pass this bill. They never try and pass any bills that benefit us when they know they can pass them. They only do it when they know it won't pass. Yeah, I don't. It's just like McDonald's. They were telling the kids that if they didn't get vaccinated, they couldn't stay at the Ronald McDonald House, which cancer kids and kids with leukemia and that used to stay at the Ronald McDonald House for low income or poor families that couldn't afford motels and stuff like that. Well, they told them if the kids and their families didn't get vaccinated, they couldn't stay there and that. So I haven't ate at McDonald's since COVID, and McDonald's can suck my dick. Sorry about the language. Really don't give a fuck. That's why this is a pissed off American. Um, Tyson, they can go suck a big dick too and choke on that motherfucker for all I care. I'll never buy anything Tyson again. People that support woke shit, illegals, uh, using human beings as guinea pigs and that, they can all kiss my ass. Ain't got no fucking use for them. Yeah, I burned it a while back. It's just got scar tissue on it now. Now the scar tissue's getting over top of the cornea and it's making it hard to see. And me being left eye dominant, it's forcing me to use my right eye all the time, which causes me to get migraines. So I'm going to get the scar tissue removed Tuesday. Yeah, I don't eat much fast food at all, Postman. I don't know. Just disgusted with where this country's at. I'm disgusted with the bullshit. It's just sad that we live in a fucking country like this where, you know, they force us to pay taxes so that we can pay their bills while they fuck us in the ass and send our money overseas so that they can embezzle it back to themselves. Yeah, I mean, a separation of states absolutely would be a better thing than what we got now. I see no use for the federal government. Let the states govern themselves, make each state its own country because the federal government does not give a fuck about the Constitution of the United States or anything else. Yeah, it's sad. Guns and water. I don't trust hardly anybody anymore. Yeah, I agree, Neil. Absolutely. Oh, I'm not worried about it, Billy Boy. I mean, it is what it is. They'll fix it. And if they can't fix it, then it is what it is. I mean, I ain't going to sweat it. Good Lord's looked out for me most of my life. I've been very blessed. I'm hoping He continues to look out for me. And like I said, it'll be what it is. I'm not going to stress it. But thank you very much, Billy Boy. But no, I don't know. Like I said, I hadn't been keeping up with politics. And then that shit in Russia happened, that terrorist attack. And then dumbass me looked into it. And then when I looked into it, all this other shit, the Tyson shit, all this other shit I ended up seeing and got a case of the ass and figured I'd vent. And when you hear me talk, this is just me talking. These are my thoughts. This is just me venting to you guys. I don't claim to be any expert in anything or nothing else. It's just this channel's not monetized for a reason. This is where I just vent, say what I got to say. Don't really give a shit. So it is what it is. Yeah, ISIS did not pull that attack off. That was orchestrated probably between the United States and Ukraine, and maybe even a little bit of help from Israel. But yeah, there's no way that ISIS did that. I mean, I'm not going to believe it. You're never going to convince me of it. You know what, Neil? Let them do what they're going to do. Hopefully, maybe fucking Americans, when we're attacked on our own land, will stand up and do something about it instead of waiting for somebody else to fix it for them. Yeah, I believe the CIA had everything to do with that. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that the Russians orchestrated it themselves. Um, I just don't believe that. Just like I don't believe that the Russians blew up their own pipeline. You know, maybe before the election, if you'd have told me Russia orchestrated that, this and that, that's fine. But Putin already won. He didn't need to orchestrate something like that to stay in office. I'm just not buying it. Oh, I don't doubt that. Ungrateful peasant. I mean, look at what Tyson did. I'm sure they'd like to do that to every one of us. I'm sure they'd like us all to be on welfare, depending on the government, so we would shut our mouths and keep our mouths shut or starve and go hungry. I mean, I guarantee you that would be the goal of this fucking corrupt government is to make every single one of us a welfare person so that way they can control us because I mean when you're on welfare you'll do what you're told or you'll starve to death. You won't have a place to live, you won't have nothing. So yeah, taking on laying off every American and replacing them with immigrants. I mean, that makes sense if you want to shut us all up. Yeah, guns and water, he might be. I don't know. I just don't think so. I honestly, I think this was, the American people don't want to send any more money to Ukraine. The government is, how do you get the American people to send more money to Ukraine? Ukraine and the federal government orchestrate a terror attack in Russia. Russia responds back to Ukraine, blows the living shit out of them, and then the United States says, "Oh, look at the poor Ukrainians. Russia's taking out what ISIS did on them. Let's hurry up and send them some more money." That's what I think this whole thing is. That it's just a way for our politicians to fucking try and convince Americans why we need to send more money to Ukraine. Yeah, I mean that's possible too, but I don't think they want to kill us all, guns and water. I mean, be better to make slaves out of us. I think that's what they're trying to do. I mean, you think about it. When my grandparents were raising my parents, my grandfather went to work. My grandmother stayed home. She took care of the kids. And you could support a family with just one person's income. Now they have it to the point where both parents got to work and they got to work 50 to 60 hours a week just to keep a roof over their head, just to feed their family and that. So by doing that, the parents aren't there to raise the kids. The schools are raising the kids, and now they're raising your kids to be trainees and fags and woke shit and all that. I mean, I believe it's all orchestrated. And I don't care what your sexual preference is. You want to be gay, be gay. Don't promote that shit to fucking kids. Leave the kids alone. Leave the kids out of it. I don't give a fuck what you do, but don't try and convince me that it's right. You do you, leave me the fuck alone. I don't know, guns and water. I think there's a lot of things that AI and robots can't do that human beings can. Yeah, Jesse, if I had kids nowadays, if I was raising young kids, I would homeschool them too. There is no way in hell that I would even consider um, putting my kids in public school right now, just myself. But I am going to get off of here. Like I said, I just wanted to rant. I haven't been on in a while. A bunch of you guys were asking me if I was all right, if I was still alive or whatever. So I threw that video out just recently. And then today, like I said, that shit just got on my nerves, all this fucking bullshit. So I figured I'd vent on it. Yeah, I believe with that too. Give the kids an education, not an indoctrination. I agree 100%. Yeah, postman. I mean, if I knew what the world was going to be like back years ago when I had my kids, I think I'd have thought real hard on whether to have them or not. Well, I'm glad you got out of there, Knox Trail, because man, I don't know how people live. I mean, Michigan's bad enough, but I don't know how people fucking live in these fucking places that are just woke like that. Thank you, Cliff Kirby. I will be safe. So, anyway, I hope every one of you has a good week, and I hope the good Lord blesses each and every one of you. Like I said, this is, when I give my opinions, I am by not means trying to change your mind, make you think anything. You do you. This is, like I said, a place for me to vent and rant when I feel the need to do it. And today I felt the need to vent and rant a little bit. So, all right. Hope everybody has a good one, and everybody be safe out there. Thank you.